If you hold any real estate right now, the smartest thing that you can possibly do is just get out. I'm going to talk about that in this video. I'm going to prove it over the next few minutes for you. When we discuss US income and housing prices, we're also discussing the US national debt, the Bitcoin to the US dollar price chart, Ethereum's price chart, XRP's price chart, and what's happening right now with one of the largest real estate investors on the planet and why he's more bullish on Bitcoin. And over the past 24 hours, altcoins have been ripping to the upside. Some of these projects up, nearly 100%. So is smart money accumulating before the next leg higher, or is this a massive bull trap before we go into a brutal bear market? All of which we're going to talk about in today's video. So comment 777 if you're feeling blessed, if you're feeling bullish, let's run it. Do you love crypto, but are you worried about taxes shrinking your retirement nest egg? Here's the deal. Trading and selling crypto can trigger capital gains taxes, eating into your wealth. A crypto IRA fixes that. Per IRS publication 590B, traditional IRA gains like those from crypto aren't taxed until distributed. That's why we've partnered with iTrust Capital, a leading crypto IRA company in the USA, to sponsor today's video. And they offer institutional grade custody for retail clients that want to set up their crypto IRAs for retirement, leveraging top storage solutions like Fidelity, Wells Fargo, and Coinbase Prime to keep your assets secure. To get started, simply click the link in the description of this video, sign up for free, and fund your account with cash. They also offer 401k rollovers or crypto transfers, and you can trade 24/7 with just 1% transaction fees and no maintenance costs. As always, I'm not a CPA or financial advisor, so consult one for tax advice, and we do earn a commission if you sign up using our link below to fund your crypto IRA account, but that helps support value-based videos like this. And iTrust Capital already has over 200,000 crypto IRA accounts and over $14 billion in transactions, proving they're trusted by smart investors just like you. So click the link below, get started now by funding your account today, and let's create generational wealth together. All right, bull runners, welcome back to the channel. So as you guys know, the Trump family has been very controversial about crypto, especially since Donald Trump launched his Trump coin, then Melania and all of that. But you can't deny how bullish they are about crypto. Listen to this.
You think it's going to hit 1 million? I saw, right?
I do. Yeah, listen, it's going to be a number of years before it does, but no, I absolutely do. First of all, the biggest families want it. The biggest private wealth funds want it. Fortune 500 companies are treasuring it every single day. There's people are hoarding Bitcoin. I mean, there are major nations out there that take all their extra energy and use that to mine Bitcoin, right? And so it's becoming truly like a world-class asset. Right now, all of a sudden, you can also buy in your equity markets. You can buy it as part of ETFs. You can buy it, as part of your 401ks, your Roth IRAs. And so it's incredibly valuable. But people are saying that to me. I was telling people buy BTC at $50,000. Eric, it's too expensive. It's at 50,000. I'm going to wait till it comes down, right? That hits 80,000. Buy Bitcoin. No, it's 80,000. It's way too expensive. Then all of a sudden it hits 100,000. Buy Bitcoin. No, it's too expensive, right? And then it hits 125,000. It's like, guys, I don't know how many more times I can say it to you. Like, I think it's going to continue to rip. I think it's going to do really well, and I am all in.
Now, a lot of people that invest in real estate over the years understand the fact that Donald Trump owns substantial real estate. So his son, growing up with him, has got to see Trump grow his empire over the years. With tons of properties like golf courses, hotels, commercial buildings, his portfolio includes a massive collection around the world, around $1.2 billion. And now their family is going all in on crypto. So could this be the biggest mistake of their life or the smartest move that they've ever made?
Mr. Trump! Mr. Trump! Go down! Hey! What's wrong with you, dude?
How many Bitcoin do you personally own?
You start.
So you guys just got ABTC listed on the NASDAQ at a $7 billion valuation, right?
We did. Incredibly proud of American Bitcoin. We're building the greatest Bitcoin company in the country. Couldn't be more proud of it. I invested.
What is American Bitcoin and what's your mission?
So American Bitcoin, we're a Bitcoin miner. We mine out of West Texas. We mine with some of the cheapest energy anywhere in the country. Every single day we're mining Bitcoin. Bitcoin is one of the greatest assets in the country. I believe in Bitcoin. Trump organization has a ton of Bitcoin. I have American Bitcoin, and Grant is doing a lot of stuff with Bitcoin. And so this is kind of the Bitcoin family right here.
I got some ABTC and some Bitcoin.
How much percent of your portfolio is Bitcoin?
Mine's a big percent. I'm certainly overweight Bitcoin. I believe in its growth. I see it around the world. I see every company trying to get it. I see every private wealth fund acquiring.
Eric, when the real estate guys start buying Bitcoin,
you know that something's happening.
Oh, yeah.
Cryptocurrency is growing faster than the internet right now. I believe in it with every aspect of my heart and soul, and I'm a real estate guy, and so is Grant. And
no tenants, no termites, no evictions. Bitcoin.
That's amazing. Who else is involved in the company?
So Asher Ganut is one of our partners. Michael Ho is one of our partners. And we've got amazing investors like Grant. Grant's been a friend of mine for a very long time, and there's no one better and there's no one sharper. And we've got a lot of people. The Winklevoss brothers are investors in American Bitcoin, and they were up there ringing the bell at the NASDAQ with us, and a lot of other great people.
So is American Bitcoin like MicroStrategy, or what's the difference?
Yeah, it's MicroStrategy on one side, and it's the fact that we're mining for 50-cent dollars on the other. So I think we can have the lowest cost Bitcoin of anyone based on the fact that we have an ability to mine for such a discount.
That's amazing. So what's next for you guys?
Well, it's growth. We got to win a race, right?
Next, man.
And why did you name it American Bitcoin?
Because we believe in Bitcoin, we believe in America. It's very simple.
How did you first get into Bitcoin?
I saw an asset that was appreciating tremendously. I found crypto people that were brilliant, and it's very clear that the rails of finance are going to be built on cryptocurrency. I really believe that modern day finance is going to be governed by cryptocurrency, and the growth is parabolic, and you see that. Now people come up to me and say it's too expensive, and I guarantee you it's going to go to 200,000. I believe that with every ounce of my soul, and so it's an amazing asset. I'm incredibly proud to be a part of it.
That's so cool. And how many Bitcoin do you personally own?
Across myself and our company, we have a lot of Bitcoin. I have a lot of Bitcoin personally, and obviously I've got my heart and soul in American Bitcoin, which I think is going to be one of the great Bitcoin companies anywhere in the world.
Kalshi says there's a 40% chance Bitcoin hits 130,000 by the end of this year. Where do you think Bitcoin's going to be at the end of this year and the end of next year?
I think it'll be higher than 130,000.
Grant, what do you think?
End of the year, I think we could be 160, 165.
And how much percent of your time is split between real estate and Bitcoin now?
I mean, we've combined them, like we fused the two together. I'm doing real estate, and every time I do a real estate deal, it involves Bitcoin. I'll never do a piece of real estate ever again without Bitcoin being involved in that transaction.
Thank you so much for your time. You guys are legends.
So one of the biggest real estate investors in the world, Grant Cardone, is saying he'd rather have Bitcoin now.
$1 billion of Bitcoin or $1 billion of real estate. I'll take the Bitcoin right now. Why? I don't have to do a title. I don't have to do an appraisal. I don't have to do a survey. I don't have to go through the banks. I don't have to get a loan. It doesn't come with termites, tenants, evictions, the government, taxes, bullshit. Yeah, I'd take the Bitcoin in a heartbeat.
And that's the billionaire mindset.
So Grant's built his whole entire career off of real estate. And if he could go back to the beginning, now he would take the Bitcoin. So go figure. This is why you got to watch what they do, not what they say, and follow the money. Where has the money been moving over the past few years? It's been moving into crypto, specifically Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin's dominance is at about 59%. It's pulling back a little bit on the short term with a lot of these altcoins rallying up as liquidity flows out of Bitcoin in the short term. But it doesn't mean this rally for Bitcoin's dominance is done just yet, because we're still in an uptrend. We're forming higher highs and higher lows until this uptrend breaks and we start to see Bitcoin's dominance, break out of this channel and break down drastically and start doing something like this. I'm still more bullish right now on Bitcoin than I am on altcoins. And until Bitcoin has several weekly closes below the 50-week EMA on the weekly chart here, then the bull run is still going to be intact. So like I mentioned in previous videos, we wicked just barely below the 50 EMA, and now Bitcoin is starting to rally back up. But we're not out of the woods just yet because we're still in a downtrend here. So it's going to be dicey, similar to what happened back here. And, all the way back here from, July of 2024 to October, and even from like March of 2025 to April, Bitcoin needs to hold on top of the 50 EMA. And we need to see Bitcoin experience a major move to the upside with the stochastic RSI forming a bullish cross down here below 20 back to the upside. So based on the stochastic RSI in the weekly, it's actually looking good for Bitcoin's chart to experience some price appreciation to the upside leading into the end of the year with a bullish cross here. So a lot of people are thinking about exiting the market or rotating into stable coins. I personally could be wrong here, and I could be completely wrong, and we could just be going into a bear market right now. But based on what I see right now in the stochastic RSI, I do think there is another rally up. The real question is how high that rally is. If it's a lower high, then we go into the bear market, or if it's a higher high and Bitcoin breaks out like what, Grant Cardone is saying, I take what he says with a grain of salt, obviously. But if he says it goes to 160 and Eric Trump saying it's going to 130, well, that's a little bit past the high. So ultimately, it's a 50-50 coin flip here on whether we make a new high or we make a lower high. But there's a high probability of Bitcoin rallying into the end of the year with the stochastic RSI turning back to the upside, because it's done this every single bull run and even bear market. So hypothetically speaking, let's say we're right here, similar to last bull run starting the bear market. Well, look at the stochastic RSI. We had a bullish cross down here near 0, and then we turned all the way up to above 80, then had a bearish cross while Bitcoin experienced a rally from 35K to $47,000. So you don't want to be exiting the market right down here while the stochastic RSI is in oversold conditions. You would want to be exiting the market up here when the stochastic RSI on the weekly is in overbought conditions, when Bitcoin is experiencing a bounce. So regardless of whatever is happening on the price action on the chart, like I just mentioned, whether Bitcoin's putting in a lower high or it's putting in an all-time high, breaking out even higher, watch where the stochastic RSI is at. If we're all the way up here above 80, wherever the price action is on the chart does not matter, because you can see what's happened every single time that the stochastic RSI has come up here on the weekly chart near 100. The last time that this happened was back here at the tail end of May, and then back here at the tail end of July. Both of those points would have been great times to take profit because Bitcoin was right here after experiencing a short-term sell-off, and then Bitcoin was all the way up here pretty much at the high. The time before then was all the way back here in December. That would have been an amazing point to take profit. The time before then was all the way back here in March of 2024. That would have been an amazing point to take profit. The time before then was back here in November of 2023. Not the best point to take profit because we were that early in the bull run and we were just basically bouncing off of these lows right here. But nonetheless, if you bought down here at $16,000, selling at $30,000, $40,000, you still would have made money. But look at each of these points on the stochastic RSI when we've been in overbought conditions. That's when Bitcoin has experienced a pullback shortly after that. So right now, the fact that we are not, this is just a fact, we're not up here above 80 is a great sign that Bitcoin's going to experience a bounce. So I don't see how you could be bearish on Bitcoin right now. I get it. It gets scary when we're in these downtrends, as it is every single time. People start getting into doom and gloom mode, and then they say, it's over and Bitcoin's, going down to $50,000, $60,000. And then sure enough, each time we see a bounce back to the upside. So I think this time is no different. I think we're going to experience a bounce to the upside. And the biggest takeaway from this video right here is what's happening in the real estate market, because the price gap between renting and buying a house has hit the widest point since the year 2000. And it's just a fact that I'll prove to you in a second that renting is far cheaper and smarter for most Americans today. Because if we look right here, this purple chart is monthly ownership payment. This black chart is the monthly rental payment right here. And you can see in the year 2007, it was a 47% gap between renting and owning, and that was before the subprime mortgage crash. And now it's 62% more expensive to buy a home than rent. And this was in 2023. I think it's even worse this year. But the fact of the matter is that it was 62 more expensive to buy rather than to rent in July of 2023. And the gap between US income that you're earning from your job and housing prices is so crazy different that the boomers that are telling the young generation, like, you don't know how hard we had it back in our day, need a reality check here, because the younger generation that's like 15, 16, 17, 18 years old, there is no chance that they're going to be able to buy a home in the next few years, like right out of college. Because the home price to income ratio, which is years of income to buy a typical home, has risen from 3.5 in 1985 to 5 in 2025. The value of properties has been forced asset appreciation because the wealthy understand what the Federal Reserve is doing in the Treasury with their debasement of the currency through the monetary print orders and the US debt clock just basically spiraling out of control. When I was in high school, this was only $7 trillion. Now it's almost $40 trillion. Like, I'm not that old. You know what I mean? High school wasn't that long ago. And this is going to be over $50 or $60 trillion within the next few years. So this gap is going to get wider and wider and wider. So the wealthiest investors in the world, like yourself watching these videos that have subscribed to the Bull Runners channel, understand this. And so they've tucked their money away into real estate over the years. And this is why the sale price of homes have gone up, among some other reasons as well too. But even with interest rates being down since 1985, they were over 12%. Now the Federal Reserve is lowering rates even more. As of this year, the median home costs 5 times the median annual household income of $83,000. So that's ludicrous, with 30-year fixed mortgage interest rates dropping in half and continuing to go down. And like Grant Cardone says, this doesn't account for potential differences in fees, taxes, insurance costs, the process that it takes to sell a home. I mean, I bought a condo out here in Miami for about $635,000. I sold it for over $900,000, and I would have rather had Bitcoin, because Bitcoin appreciated more. Even though the condo appreciated, I bought in the best possible area out here in Miami, and now the condo market is absolute trash. Plus the amount of time that it takes to liquidate and sell, you have to find the buyer for it. Now I get it, if you're dealing with low liquid altcoins that have super small market caps, low 24-hour volume, it's hard to get the buyers if you're trying to sell millions of dollars worth. But if you're dealing with large cap projects like Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, BNB, Solana, Tron, you name it, these projects that have hundreds of millions of dollars or $1 billion in 24-hour trading volume, well, if your portfolio is $5, $10, $20 million, you can liquidate that in a matter of seconds. Whereas if your real estate portfolio is, let's say, $50 million and you got like 20 or 30 properties, good luck liquidating that over the course of a day or two. It's impossible. Now, everybody wants to know, when is the rotation going to take place from Bitcoin to altcoins? So this is why we've tracked the ETH to the Bitcoin price chart. We talked about this breakout for Ethereum relative to Bitcoin all the way back here, May of 2025, June of 2025, on how when Ethereum was going to break this resistance right here, it was going to explode to the upside compared to Bitcoin. And that's exactly what happened. Then once we started to get all the way up here relative to Bitcoin, and the relative strength index topped out at 88, we spotted this bearish divergence that I've been talking about in previous videos, where when the price chart starts to make higher highs like this, and a key indicator like the relative strength index starts making lower highs, that's a sign that bullish momentum is slowing down and we're due for a correction and a cool off period. And sure enough, it's exactly what's been happening for ETH to Bitcoin. We've now been putting in lower highs. And usually what I look for is when the RSI fails to reclaim above 70 and we top out here between 50 and 70, like what happened on the 12th of September. And then the price chart starts to put in lower highs after the highest high is in. And then we start to see a downtrend of lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and eventually this will reverse back to the upside after what I just mentioned. That's Bitcoin's dominance rolling around to the downside. So while Bitcoin's dominance is still in a uptrend right now, then ETH to the Bitcoin price chart will still be in a downtrend. So while we're in a downtrend here, what we want to look for is a bullish divergence. Now, a bullish divergence is when the price chart, continues to make, let me just clear the chart for you, continues to make these lower lows. We want to look on the relative strength index for the lowest low, and we want to see if the RSI starts putting in higher lows. And we're just not seeing that happen yet. So this tells me, even with this short-term bounce for, Ethereum or altcoins, it's going to be met by another sell-off to the downside, most likely. Again, no guarantees here, but because I'm not seeing a strong bullish divergence with the RSI bottoming out down here below 30, it's come down 230, like 29, but it's not down here drastically like what happened all the way back here in April of 2025. You can clearly see the RSI bottomed out here, then formed a higher low right here, while the price chart was putting in its final lower low in this downtrend here. We're not seeing that currently for ETH to Bitcoin. So it tells me there's still some momentum to the downside. Once we start to see the RSI put in these higher lows and the price chart bottom out down here, then I would be more inclined to believe that we're going to experience a bounce in an injection in liquidity after Bitcoin's dominance has topped out here. So I still think there's some more momentum to the upside for Bitcoin's dominance. I'm still bullish on Bitcoin until the RSI, experiences some type of blow off top with the price chart for Bitcoin's dominance, and then we roll over back to the downside. Because as you can see, the stochastic RSI came up here to 85. Hey, if let's just say Bitcoin's dominance has topped out here, well, then we could be starting alt season. But if not, then expect the stochastic RSI to turn back up here above 80, stay in this uptrend for an extended period of time, the RSI to turn back up here above 70, and then ETH to the Bitcoin price chart to continue in this downtrend. All right. So now looking at XRP's price chart, we can see on the weekly chart that we are right now at the 50 EMA. I also talked about the stochastic RSI down here in previous videos, oversold conditions. And so I think XRP, ranges for a little bit, then experiences a major breakout with ETH, the rest of the altcoin market here back to the upside. This would be my expectations because the stochastic RSI, is at 13 and 12. We're not above 80 yet. So I do think XRP is going to have a rally into this descending resistance at some point and come all the way back up here. Now, it really depends on when that happens. I'm not holding my breath for it here. But if you're considering exiting the market in a downtrend, that's like exiting down here or like right around here. It's just not a smart move. You want to be exiting on the breakouts when price action is strong and you're seeing the stochastic RSI forming either a bearish divergence or just above 80 in general, because that's like selling all the way over here or selling all the way up here at HH1 while the RSI is forming a bearish divergence here. So you're either selling up here on the stochastic RSI in the initial breakout, or you're selling the bearish divergences on the daily time frames. For example, let me just show you one right here. Because when the stochastic RSI in the price chart, starts to break out along with the relative strength index, here's an example. When XRP rallied up to $2.90, the RSI was all the way up here at 95. The stochastic RSI was all the way up here above 80. Great time to take some profits on these green candles, right? Even if you sell at 211, 250, 288, that's great. Let's say you didn't sell anything and you're seeing XRP make another higher high. Well, look at the relative strength index is putting in a lower high while the stochastic RSI is up here near 100. Another great time to take profits because momentum is slowing down from bullish momentum. Why? Well, it's because the RSI failed to reclaim the previous high. That's a textbook bearish divergence. And then once you see the price start to roll over here, look, even this white little arrow here on our shorting strategy indicator signaled the short when XRP was at $3.12. Had you have sold that, and taken that signal, you would have saved yourself 167 days of having to wait for XRP to, go from $3.35 to $3.69, right? So you can't be delusional here. You can't be just buying based on what someone else tells you. You have to learn how to read charts, all of which we teach inside of Altcoin Pro University, on top of our yield generation strategies to earn passive income on your crypto. Because I get it. The reason why people like real estate is because they can rent it out, they can earn income to offset their mortgage, and then they could get the value appreciation of the home, which is what makes real estate appealing. But little did those people know that they can actually do the same thing with their crypto. Because if you have 10K or more in crypto, you're literally giving up an extra $300 per month in passive income. You're giving up on a free 3 to 8% additional monthly yield just because it's sitting on an exchange like Coinbase or Binance and you're being lazy. You're taught to hodl, just wait for price appreciation. And this is costing you thousands of dollars. So let's see what happens here. While your assets are sitting there doing absolutely nothing and inflation is kicking your ass. For example, Ethereum didn't do anything over the course of 3 months. XRP didn't do anything over a whole year. And Solana, same thing. It didn't do anything for an even longer period of time while you sat there making no money. And I'm not saying that these are bad investments. It's quite the opposite, actually. But the smartest investors in the world make their crypto work for them to generate additional yield. And why would you not do that? You're holding these crypto assets anyways. It's like buying a rental property and not renting it out. If you hold on to the property because you believe that it's going to appreciate in value over years, why wouldn't you rent it out so someone else can pay your mortgage while you still get the value appreciation? So it makes no sense to just hold your crypto without earning yield on your idle coins. And if you're just holding your crypto on exchanges like Coinbase, your assets aren't safe. In fact, Coinbase was hacked for $400 million and the hackers bribed Coinbase employees so they could access sensitive user information, demanding a $20 million ransom from Coinbase, which the company refused to pay.
I want to make you aware of a disturbing email that we received recently at Coinbase. It was a ransom note demanding $20 million in Bitcoin in exchange for these attackers not releasing some information they claim to have obtained on our customers. I'm going to respond publicly to these attackers by saying no. We are not going to pay your ransom.
And I even received a letter in the mail saying that my information was included in that hack. So I'm speaking from firsthand experience here, not just an article that I read online. So not only are you leaving free money on the table by not earning yield on your idle crypto, but you're also putting yourself at risk of losing it all, getting hacked, or having your account frozen by keeping your crypto on centralized exchanges. Because if it's not your keys, it's not your crypto. You already know this, so I don't have to tell you. You can't afford to be lazy with your capital. The US is drowning in nearly $40 trillion in debt. So this is your insurance against the system. To learn how you can earn passive income on your coins every single day while protecting your capital from hacks or scammers, my research team put together a step-by-step tutorial for you to start earning yield on your crypto today. And it takes less than 10 minutes to get set up. All you need to do is go to altcoinpro.com after you're done watching this video, create your account, and click on the Start Here lesson under the classroom, and you'll discover how one liquidity pool is earning our members up to 40% yield on digital assets that they already own. Plus, you can go into the DeFi yield picks and see even more opportunities to earn passive income on your coins safe and predictably with complete control and ownership of your assets. You will make significantly more money by being your own bank. And all you need to do is go to altcoinpro.com to get started right now.